You know my first guest tonight is one of the most iconic and acclaimed musicians of all time. He's a rock and roll Hall of Famer who has sold more than 300 million records worldwide, and his music has won essentially every award that has ever been made. Please welcome back to The Late Show, Elton John. Well, as you can tell, I'm not the only one who's happy that you're here, Elton John. And you know, I've been lucky enough to talk to you before, and you know that it is difficult for me to express how happy I am to see you because I am not an epic poet to cast my words in verse for you. Just thrilled to have a chance to talk to you again. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very, very well. My health is great. Never been healthier. No, everything, you know, we have a little problem with the eyes, but, you know, compared to most people, I'm the luckiest man in the world. So I'm very, very happy with everything.
Lovely to hear it. Well, you've had quite a year and well-deserved. Besides, you already have 5 Grammys, 2 Oscars, a Tony, but this year you finally got an Emmy, making you an EGOT for the first time. And I know someone as accomplished as you are has received a lot of awards, but does it feel good to like kind of check that box?
It was a fantastic, I was asleep at home in Windsor in England, and David phoned me and he FaceTimed me and said, how would you like to have one of these? And he held up 2 Emmys. And I knew we'd won, and I was so excited, mostly for him because he did such a great job with the live broadcast from Dodger Stadium. But it felt really good. It's just, you know, only 19 people have EGOTs, and it feels, from America, because I came to America from England with my eyes wide open because this is the place I always wanted to come to. This is where all the great music came from, the movies, everything about it. And so to become an EGOT meant so much to me because the American public have given me so much throughout my career, and it felt great. Who doesn't want to win anything anyway? Come on.
Well, you also have just been named Time Magazine's Icon of the Year, and of all the awards, I'm just curious, as a longtime fan of all the awards and distinctions that you've gotten over the years, is there one that is most meaningful to you as a singer-songwriter?
I think the Gershwin Award was pretty... We got that this year as well. And George Gershwin and Ira Gershwin wrote some of the most incredible songs of all time. And to be recognized for our songwriting, which we started out doing...
You and Bernie Taupin?
Bernie Taupin and myself. Before I became a recording artist, we were songwriters. So I think that was an incredible moment to be recognized for what we actually started out doing. And, you know, we've had a lot of success, but to get that award and to be in the Library of Congress was unbelievable. What a place.
Yeah,
it's pretty
in
good.
there with Jefferson's
It's
original
a little smaller
collection.
than my house, but it's okay,
Okay, now there's a documentary about your life. It's called Elton John, Never Too Late.
Yes.
The first question, obviously, is never too late for what? Because I think it's never too late in a meal to order appetizers.
I could answer that question, you'll never be on the air again, okay?
So, never too late for what?
Never too late to change your life, to make decisions that will make your life better. I mean, the documentary really documents my rise to fame from 70 to 75 at Dodger Stadium, culminating at Dodger Stadium, where I had the most incredible success. But underneath that, apart from the success, there was no basis. There was no foundation underneath me. I didn't have anything. I was incredibly unhappy. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to have a relationship, but I didn't have it. And it then goes to 40, God, how many years? 47 years later at Dodger Stadium, playing it again, where I have a family, children, and a life that I love so much, which is so much more important than having a #1 record.
75 was after Captain Fantastic or after Yellow Brick Road?
I can't remember.
All right.
I don't know.
There have been too many
we
bangers.
released 13 albums in 5 years, Stephen. I don't really...
You and Bernie, 13 albums in 5 years?
Yes. And separate singles. And
How is that possible? And would it be still legal today?
It's possible because I was loving what I was doing. Plus the fact there were no mobile phones. There was no paparazzi, there was no internet. You just did what you did, and you loved doing it. So writing albums and writing songs was such a pleasure for me. And I didn't find it hard work. I just thought it was the greatest thing in the world because I was here meeting so many people that I loved and admired, and they came and they saw me. So it was just, I was like a kid in a candy store. And when you look back, when I saw the documentary and I look back on it, the thing I was proudest of most of, from the musical point of view, was the music sounded great from 1970 to 75. And I don't listen to my music very much, but I thought, that sounded pretty good. That sounded all right, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Spoiler.
Yeah.
You wrote some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
I was curious about, I like that point about no cell phones and no internet. How do you, when you're actually writing songs, what do you do to focus? Do you need to like put out everything else in your life so you're just you and the piano for a while?
Me and the lyrics. I write to lyrics, and I always have done. When I see the written word, and I get an idea in my head, if I choose the title or if I read through the lyrics and I say that's the one, it just sets me off. God knows how I do it. I mean, Bernie and I have written songs and never been in the same room. And it's
he used to mail you the lyrics, right?
He used to mail me the lyrics. He used to email me the lyrics. In the early days, it was done by handwriting. Then it was faxed. And nowadays, it's emailed. But it's...
Was there anything looking back at that documentary? Because you said, I think you said on the show, that you're a person who doesn't look back. You're always trying to look forward, new creative challenges, but you have to look back at your life for a documentary. Did anything surprise you about those years?
How much work we did. I mean, that's an awful lot of work, as well as touring, doing interviews.
Do you have any advice for that guy from 47 years ago?
Yeah, slow down a bit. No, it got to 75, and then it was... Success was incredible. I couldn't have done any more than I could have done and been more successful. I would have said to the guy, listen, stay away from the cocaine, for God's sake. It's no good. I've got a very small nose.
Yes.
And it's had a real battering, this nose. And I just wasted so much of my life doing the most stupid things. And then I got sober and I made amends for it, and I got a new life together. And it was fantastic.
You know, you are the quintessential rocket man, and you were on a real rocket ride back then. I recently had Sabrina Carpenter on the show, and I talked to her about her rocket ride, about are you enjoying it? Make sure you take the time.
You have to enjoy it.
Did you take the time to enjoy it when you were her age?
Of course. I loved every single minute. Being in America, going from city to city, playing in Memphis, where Elvis started out, playing in Nashville. I mean, it was playing. I visited the Sun Studios in Memphis. I visited the Detroit Motown Studios. I visited the Stax 8-track machine. All the music that founded my life. When I first came to New York in 1970, I wanted to go to the Apollo Theater, but no one would take me. No taxi driver said, it's not safe. Till I found one taxi driver said, I'll take you, but I'll stay there with you. And I said, that's fine. All I want to do is see the Apollo Theater. And I saw it, and it lit my soul because all the great music that had been made there. This country is full of the most incredible history in the shortest time, of the music, the art, the movies. It's an incredible place. And from a boy from England to soak that up, it was manna from heaven.
Well, you weren't always Elton John. You were born Reginald Kenneth Dwight.
Yes.
Which is also a lovely name.
It's a name.
agree to disagree.
Who the hell calls this a little baby, right? Little baby like, Reginald. Oh, Reginald. I was named after my mum's brother because she wanted to call me Raymond, but my father disagreed. So they had a huge argument, which wasn't, unusual. And I became Reginald, and I hated it. Reggie! It's a more popular name in America, and they've had very many famous Reggies. But in England, it wasn't Reggie, it was Reginald. It's like, who the hell? Anyway. And as soon as I could change it, by default, I did.
Well, Reginald is the male version of Regina, right? Which means queen.
Thank you.
Okay. But I want to know...
They got it spot on, and right in 1947, they knew what they were doing. Right.
How did you choose your name, which was, I found out today your full stage name or new name was Elton Hercules John. Who names their child Hercules?
I do. No. I chose Elton because I was in a band with a guy called Long John Baldry, and I had to choose a name very quickly. So I was on the bus back with the band from Heathrow to London, and our saxophone player was called Elton Dean, and I thought, Elton, there's not many Eltons in the world, that's pretty unusual. And John Baldry, so I went, Elton John, very cute, I'll have that. And then middle names are quite useless anyway, no one uses them, do they? I don't know, so Hercules...
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Hercules, yeah. Hercules was a horse on a program called Steptoe and Son in England, which was a very famous program. So I chose Hercules, why not?
Did it change you as a person to have a new name?
Absolutely, it really did. But the sad thing about it was, by 1975, when I was Elton Hercules John, there was still a lot of Reg in me, and Reg had been lost. And I craved to find that little boy that I used to be, and had become Elton John superstar. And I paid the price for being so famous and not having, not having that foundation. And it took over my life. Fame is a very weird thing. I mean, I enjoyed every single minute of it until I realized that the only thing in my life was fame. And I didn't like it. And I got very unhappy. My mood shifted. I started doing drugs. And I just thought, where am I? Who am I? What have I become? And so all that changed in 1990 when I did get sober, when I refound my old self or whatever. And it was lovely to find that little boy again. But fame is a really incredible business. If you get caught up in it too much, you're in a really bad position. And I can name you names: Elvis Presley,
sure,
Marilyn Monroe, Michael Jackson. It's a tough thing.
The purpose of fame, in my opinion, is to work. Yeah. That's it. But you can't mistake that. The purpose of fame is so that you will continue to work at the thing you actually love.
You have to have a balance. Look at you. I mean, by day you're doing this, by night you're doing this, by day you're doing the dust carts. It's good, you're the trash carts and
exactly.
Yeah, and it keeps you on the it keeps you down there.
I'm in the
hot dog stand outside.
That's what I was going to say.
Fabulous.
Exactly. I'm dressed up as Elmo down in Central.
Yes.
Okay. In the documentary about your life, Elton John, Never Too Late, you actually share some parts of your life that nobody has ever seen. For instance, we have a clip of you playing with John Lennon. Jim?
I was very nervous, but for me, it was a dream come true. I could have died and gone to heaven, I cycled to Hatch End to get the Beatles album, and here I am playing on this record and having the greatest time and having the best fun with him. And I said, listen, this is a #1 record. And he went, no. And I said, listen, if it gets to #1, you've got to come on stage with me. And he never thought in a million years it would get to #1. And then when it got to #1, he didn't just try and shirk out of it. And he certainly hadn't played on stage in New York since Shea Stadium.
Yeah.
We went up to Boston to see Elton in concert so that John could get an idea of what it was like. And he hadn't been to a show in a long, long time and didn't realize how much more sophisticated it had got.
That's extraordinary, to be able to go up there and to write And to work on a song with John Lennon. What was it like to have John Lennon as a friend? Was he a good hang?
He was incredibly. He was, you know, John had this reputation of having a mean temper and being difficult. Never with me. He was just so nice, and with the band, it was just wonderful. And we hung out for 2 years together. We misbehaved together.
2 years?
Yeah, I mean, we were buddies for 2 years. And then when we did that Madison Square Garden on Thanksgiving 1974, Yoko, who he was estranged for, came to the show. And she bought 2 gardenias, one for her, one for him. And that was the night they got back together. And he found his love again. He never played again, but he had Sean, and he became the father that he wasn't before. And, you know, it was wonderful to see him become happy and find the love of his life again, which he was.
And that was the last time he performed live in front of a crowd. Well, it's been a year and a half since you finished touring. You've been doing world tours for the past 55 years. How does it feel to not have another world tour looming?
It's the most fantastic thing in the world.
Did you not like the world tours?
I love the world tours, but I've been going since 1970. Before that even, I've done 55 years of touring, and there's nothing. I ended on a high. My voice was great, the piano playing was great, the band was great. There are other things I want to do with my life that are more important than touring. I'm still going to make records. I'm still going to have a musical future. But I want to be with my boys, and I want to be with David, because I love them more than I love touring.
Do your boys know? I'm curious, because kids, you know, for kids, your dad, do the kids know that you're Elton John?
Oh, yes, they do. But they, you know, how could you not? I mean, when you wear a tiara for breakfast, of course they know who you are.
That's it.
But no, I don't bring Elton John home. I'm just dad at home, and daddy or dada, as Zachary calls me dada, and Elijah calls me dad. No, it's the most, you know, without having children, our lives would be so meaningless. I'm so glad we had them. Zach would be 14 Christmas Day, Elijah would be 12 in January. It's been the greatest time of our lives.
Did you, when they were younger, did you sing them to bed? Did you sing them to sleep when they were little?
We sang them to bed. We read them stories every night, even when they couldn't understand what we were saying. It was a ritual that we held them. Gaga, who's their godmother, used to come and bathe them and sing them to bed.
Lady Gaga.
No, Morris Gaga. I mean,
but Gaga sounds like a name you would give a grandmother. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but that's literally Lady Gaga.
Yeah, Lady Gaga.
Okay,
yes.
Gaga, exactly. Sorry, I apologize.
That's it. How many effing Gagas do you know?
You can say here. It's okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay, there's too much. There's too much to talk to you about. They're telling me to wrap up there, but I'm not going to do it. Can you just stay just a little bit longer, please?
I will, yes.
Okay, please.
Okay.
We have to take a quick break. We're right back with more Elton John, everybody. Stick around.